The following is a presentation of Zagnif Productions, LLC.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hello, gang. How's everybody doing? How are you doing? How are you doing? How are you? All of you in the back, all of you in the front, everybody on the sides. We appreciate you guys for coming out tonight. It is time for yet another episode of This Week in UGA Football. I am your guy, coming to you live from Zagnif Central all the way in the 405 where the wind comes whipping down the plain. Oklahoma City, Chicago, Mr. Fingaz, and that guy right there. That guy over there, he is the brother from another, the sexy mother Hubbard, the ace of base in the place in your face. I hadn't forgotten about that point. I wanted it to have a little stake on it by the time we finally come back around to doing it. That's my guy, Collin P. from the DMV. How you doing, man?
Hey, man. I'm doing great. Had a good weekend with the B, man. And, we just it was kind of messed up because we had a little bit of rain coming through. We had a storm coming up the East Coast here. You guys, I don't think you guys had anything to do or got caught any of that. But we kind of missed the bad stuff about it. But we did get some rain on Saturday, Sunday. So kind of chilled out, did a little surf and turf action and cooking in the house, a little steak and shrimp, that kind of stuff for the B, man. Just kind of laid around watching football. It's nice. Very nice. How about yourself?
Well, that's what's up, man. I can get used to this. Not doing a whole lot on the weekend, man. I've been trying to not overexert myself on the weekends because normally on the weekends I go all out. I'm running to Home Depot and I'm grocery shopping and I'm cooking and I'm cutting grass and taking care of stuff. I mean, seriously, like Saturday, it's like I get up and try and do as much as I can before kickoff, and then I mess around and sit on the couch and fall asleep and wake up and it's the third quarter. You know what I mean? I've been trying to enjoy doing that, but I'm gonna have to get back into it soon because it's time to get the yard together for the fall. Temperature was like 89 degrees today, which is like springtime in Oklahoma City.
No doubt.
For real. So that lets me know that the winter weather is the fall weather is right around the corner. Sean Spencer, what's going on, my G? The originator, one half of that dynamic duo that is Let's Talk Football, one half of the founding members of a very large family of podcasts, all surrounding football and a whole bunch of affiliates thereof. I don't. Now the word thereof did not even fit in that particular sentence, but every time you hear the word affiliates, the word thereof goes along with that somewhere, and that's my $122.78 SAT word of the day. Much love to the guy. Had a good birthday weekend, so hey, did he tell you he got a long distance video message?
Oh
from
no.
from a former University of Georgia Classic football player.
No, he didn't. He didn't tell me that.
Nah. We, you know what? We not gonna get into that story. I tell you that story off air.
Okay.
But had a good time. He got an opportunity to hang out with. And I'm mad too, bro, because I wanted to. It would have been the one time that I would have been able to get together with Sean and the members of the roundtable, because Tina, Nick, and Delilah, as you know, shout out to my co-hosts on the roundtable there. They all live in the Windy City in the Chi, and so y'all got together. Went out, did some karaoke. You should see my boy. He was out there doing. I forgot what song he was doing, but he legit was holding a 40 in his hand.
Holding a 40.
A whole 40.
Uh-oh. Man. I mean,
hey OG, hold on. Hey OG, hold on to that, man. We will work with that. We're gonna work with that a little bit later. Anyway.
I've got a story about that, but we'll go later. But I mean, I got a story about a former Georgia football. I was mistaken for it when I went out to Vegas. I was mistaken. My cousin actually had people. We were at a bottle service at top of Voodoo on top of the Rio Hotel. So we went out there to a buddy of mine, husband and wife's renewing a vow. So we went out there, a bunch of
nice.
And so we ended up. Two of my friends actually hit straight flushes on the 3-card poker table. So each of them got $2,000 apiece. So we had $4,000 to blow. So we went bottle service, limo, whole 9. And we got up there. We had bottle service at the top of Voodoo. So this is not my money we spending, right? So we get the bottle.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, can a brother get? I give you my cash app right now, bro. A little short.
That money been gone. We spent, that thing was gone by that night, son. After buying bottles. But anyway, I was sitting there in bottle service and had my sunglasses on and everything. I think I had no surprise. I had on something Georgia. I think I had a Georgia shirt on or whatever. And then my cousin had some girl was walking by thinking I was supposed to be like a draft pick or something, like I was a wide receiver or something. I was like, it made no sense, but it worked.
Bro, no, you know what? For Georgia, it does. Just if you don't believe me, see Stetson Bennett, Brock Bowers, Lab McConkey, Cash Jones, Kevin Butler.
Well, that's true. I didn't think about that. I mean, they bought it hook, line, and sinker, dude. I was just, it was awesome.
Now the one that happened that still makes me tickle to this day. The homie Jordan. Yeah. We went to the Georgia Tech game, and this was Stafford's I keep saying it was his last year. It wasn't his last year because he didn't get drafted till later, but he was playing and he was the starting quarterback. Muhammad Massaquoi was the number one was the number one receiver. And on the other side, Megatron was still playing for Georgia Tech.
Right.
And we got to go to Butts Mare and meet Coach Rick and all the guys. I think Coach Bobo, all of that good stuff. And and we had the sideline passes. We got to hang out with Big Dog and Sonny Siler, rest in peace to Sonny Siler and Big Dog both. Got to pet Ugga, take pictures with Big Hairy Dog. Nice. But the end of the game's over. Georgia pulled one out. We got to ring the bell. So end of the game, everybody's gone. The fans are all filing out, and Jordan catches Matt Stafford at the 50-yard line in the middle of the G. Yeah. Daps him up, goes to whisper something in his ear. Now, for those of you that are unfamiliar, my homie is about 6'4". He's a very imposing figure. He's a veteran, just like me, so he carries himself like that to this day. He's all decked in red and black. He's got his big Fairfax County Softball Slow Pitch Association championship ring on his finger. So it looks like he's got a championship ring on. So this 6'4" brother, all decked out in a red and black tracksuit, walks up, daps up Matt Stafford. Man, the cameras came out of everywhere. They was like, yo, click. I was standing back cracking up. Coach Rick is cracking. Coach Rick is like, he's cracking up. The homie that got us the passes are cracking up. But yeah, man. So Yeah, that was the one time I hung out with my homeboy and they thought he was famous and they just looked at me like, "Why you ain't taking pictures?" I'm like, I'm with him.
Yeah.
Who are you? Who are you? I'm the homie. I hold
Look,
the bag.
I'm nobody.
I,
I'm just.
I'm like I was like I was like Tupac carrying crates for you know.
That's like me. He's like, yeah, I'm just here.
But Sean said you should have started signing autographs. Hey man, do that.
Hey, I was just. I mean, I was there, but I didn't really want to get myself in trouble, get called out. I was just like, I'm just letting people believe what they want to believe. I wasn't gonna give them any ammo. I was just gonna say, hey, y'all believe what you want.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, for those of you that are just tuning in, and I see that there are a few of you watching, we appreciate you tuning in. This is, as we said, this week in UGA football, and we appreciate you being here. Oh, it looks like everything's cooperating with us now. Tony got the settings right. We're not choppy. I'm not woody. We're not choppy tonight in the studio. For those of you that have been watching the show for the last 3 weeks, this has been a labor of love. All of our sound effects and videos have been running really choppy in the app. They look smooth as silk playing, and then they come back, and that's why y'all see us sitting here like, because we're waiting on the video to stop chopping up on iron. They're like, what, did they have a stroke? God forbid. Let me
unmute us.
let me knock one more time, right? We got to unmute ourselves, all of that craziness. So let's go ahead and get right on into it, my guy. Let's get into around the SEC. A lot of interesting games this week. Oh, the horn even sounded like it got a little juice to it today. Welcome back, horn.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. There was a little juice going on around the SEC this week. We're going to jump right into it. Auburn. Well, it was fun while it lasted. They did come out the gate, had a couple of really nice wins. But not against A&M. I don't know what it is about Jimbo Fisher. Jimbo Fisher just has this knack for just he'll lose some games that he's not supposed to lose, but he'll win. And I'm not saying he wasn't supposed that A&M was not supposed to beat Auburn. Right. But this was supposed to be the year that this was supposed to be maybe the year that Auburn started making their way back to greatness. Maybe not. They weren't going to win. They weren't going to win the West, but I thought they were going to start making their way back. 10-7. What you got?
10-27.
10-27. Oh my Lord.
Yeah.
Reading is fundamental, ladies and gentlemen. Reading is definitely fundamental.
No. All right. So
hey, now come on, Slim. I could quote Shakespeare.
Well, all right. I'm gonna have to hear you do that one day. But
not today. Not today.
Yeah. No. I mean, I'm with you on that because I thought. They look good, but I don't know. I mean, like if you look at the quarterbacks, I mean, you got Peyton Thorne. I mean, he had 44 yards. He was at like 50% passing. No touchdown, no interception. They had a holding Grinner. Sorry, yeah, Grinner. And Asher, they had those guys playing, and evidently the quarterback position wasn't. I mean, running back was pretty good. The rushing looks pretty good, but yeah, Max Johnson, he had 2 touchdowns, and he didn't have that many yards. He had like 123 yards. But I'm with you. I thought. I mean, I really thought Auburn had this game. I mean, until they.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's just one of those things where I personally, like I said, I wasn't giving Auburn a division this year. Yeah. I said with a little bit of, and if I'm wrong, and I know there's at least one person watching that will definitely tell me if I'm not right. But it's just coming out of the gate and seeing what I was seeing, I was like, well, maybe with a little, something and some work, maybe they can work their way back into the upper echelon of the division. And and it's not to say that A&M is a bad squad either. A&M to me is a good squad with a good coach who gets confused. And they always wind up for the last few years, it just wound up falling way short of expectation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like sometimes they fall just short and sometimes they fall way short.
Right.
But then, with all that money that they put into Jimbo Fisher, and the OG definitely said it when he put it on there when he said that he's playing for his job. He is, because how much money did they give him? Was it 95 million? They gave him a lot.
Maybe you can answer the question. Why was he on the field? Did you see him, man? He was about 5-6 yards on the field, just hanging out. And there goes the boy, run right by him.
He was trying to throw a knee out there like that coach did. That one
Yeah.
coach did. I think it was God, NFL. That was a long
Wasn't it-
time ago. Oh,
wasn't
OG.
it-
Hey, I'm gonna put this question to Encyclopedia Brown number 2. As we know, Encyclopedia Brown number 1 is Alex Loosemore of
That's fair too.
Restoring the Roar. That kid's got a brain like what? OG, who was that coach that threw that knee and totally jacked up that touchdown? It was the NFL coach, I believe.
Oh, was it?
I believe it was. I think the Dolphins. I believe the Dolphins were playing. It was so many
It was the
moons ago, and I was drinking very heavily back then, so I cannot remember who the coach was. I just remember seeing it, and I was like, that dude just, man, that's messed up. Anyway,
Yeah.
we're gonna keep this thing going. OG will put that answer in the. Sean will put that answer out there in the comments there. Moving on along here, Vanderbilt and Kentucky. 45-28, and this was not even remotely close. At halftime, it was 24-10.
Right.
Kentucky was back, and now the second half, actually, they played a little closer. It was 21. Kentucky scored 21 points. Vanderbilt put up 18. So the second half was played a little closer, but I think the damage pretty much had been done with that 21 point.
Yeah.
That 21 point. Sean said he was going to stop their player by himself. Oh wait, Tomlin did that?
Yeah, I was there, Tomlin. You hear me? I did say Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin threw his leg out there. Oh my gosh! I thought that was somebody else's. No. The player was on the Dolphins, and Tomlin threw his leg out there. Anyway,
Yeah.
Let's see what we got going on here. Oh, we were talking about Kentucky and Vanderbilt. Leary, 205 yards passing, got 78 yards out of Davis rushing, and Brown for 105 yards receiving. I think this game probably could have been a little bit closer if Vanderbilt had given it.
Yeah.
Rave, thank you, OG. See that? Why? See, that's why I stay in my lane when it comes to pro football.
Right.
That's why I'm in a perfect spot. I'm in a perfect spot on the round table. I get a rookie of the week, I talk about it. I get to talk a little bit about some of the games and throw in my little 2 cents. But that I stay in my lane when it comes to pro football. Although I can tell you all about that bad Super Bowl. Don't get me started. Anyway, Vanderbilt falls to 2-3 because remember they had a game in week 0, so they are 1 game ahead of everyone else. Yeah. Kentucky, once again, remember the year we made the championship run, Kentucky was 6-0 going into the week that we went, the week that they came to Sanford Stadium, the week they came to Sanford Stadium. Right now, Kentucky is really quiet. They're real quiet with because everybody right now is looking at what's going on with Bama. Look at Texas on the come up. Oklahoma's not looking bad. USC, Deion Sanders. I think with all that's going on in college football right now, Kentucky has been able to very quietly win 4 games. They're still undefeated in the conference.
So you're talking about like Kentucky. I can agree with that. I mean, like if Vanderbilt would have played them a little tougher, like that first quarter really hurt them. That 21 points, they couldn't. And honestly, I mean, Ray Davis. I mean, he was running. You know what I'm saying? They weren't able to stop him too much. He had 2 touchdowns, 78 yards, off of 17 carries. So I mean, he might be. Ray Davis might be one we need to watch out for. When they come to.
Oh yeah. Well, we said this. Now I'm not mind you. I'm not knocking Kentucky right now. I'm not trying to knock them, but we said the same thing a couple of years ago. Although that squad had that defense, had that Dan Lanning defense. I mean, my God, 6 points a game, or I think at the end of the season was like 7 points a game that they allowed the entire season. Right. This defense is still very stout, but it's also a younger defense, and they're still experiencing some growing pains. Yeah. But we'll get it. We'll see what happens when they make their way. We will see what happens when they make their way to Sanford Stadium in a couple of weeks. And then, of course, as you know, we take on Auburn next week in Auburn, and that's a tough place to play. Moving on, we're gonna skip the next game on the list here. We'll come back around to that one. Tennessee fans think Tennessee is back, 45-14. This definitely was a statement game for Tennessee. My feeling after the loss to Florida, this definitely was a statement game. Now, Of course, it was against University of Tennessee, San Antonio, but 45-14, they blanked UTSA in every quarter except the third. Something tells me that hypo that during the fourth quarter, during that fourth quarter break said, no, we don't do that here. We do know that, and that's been happening a lot this season. It happened
Yeah.
here. It
Yep.
happened here when Oklahoma was playing. I want to say they were playing Tulsa, and they pulled their starters.
Yeah.
And the second string came in. The second string let them score a couple touchdowns, and Coach Venable pulled them on the sideline and said, "No, we shutting that down immediate. We shutting that down immediately." And they shut them out for the remainder of the game. Tennessee with a big statement game here, coming off that loss, which is definitely what the Volunteers needed to keep their momentum going. They're still not completely out of it yet because we're all getting ready to go into conference play. Milton with 208 yards passing, Sampson with 100. And I cannot read my glasses much. 139 yards rushing. And so congratulations to Tennessee. Randy Jowers, Jeezy, if you watching, we're coming for you, sir.
That's right.
I believe we're playing in Neyland again this year. And we're looking forward to it. No, we played in Neyland.
We played in Neyland last year.
We played in Neyland. No, we played in Neyland. We played in Neyland this year, sir. I knew what I was talking about. Yeah, we playing Neyland again this year. Don't do that to me.
Just trying to keep you on your toes, man.
Don't do that to me, man.
Don't
You know I didn't take my ginkgo before the show started. Keeping it moving along. Florida, the win streak continues for Florida. Sunbelt Billy lives to fight another day. You'll never fight another day, Billy. I'll never fight another day. To put together 22 points again. I mean, I'm not trying to diminish it, but 22 points. 22-7 over Charlotte in the swamp. Great job to them. Mertz with 259 yards passing. Pearsall with 104 yards receiving. What you got for that one, sir?
Yeah, I mean, they needed that one, obviously. They keep moving, and that's another one I'm kind of excused about, man, because he's fighting for his job too. I mean, like Sunbelt Billy, he's fighting for his job. I think. He did definitely a statement win, but I'm surprised at the score. I mean, I don't think they pulled their players. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not certain because there was they were up 16-7 at the half, and they only scored 3 points.
Two field goals, one in the third, one in the fourth.
3 points in the third quarter and the fourth quarter. So, I mean, that's. I didn't get to watch that game. Didn't see too many of the highlights, but yeah, that was very unorthodox for them. So
and again, this makes me ask the question: Is there a trend going on in college football where the coaches are really starting to try and look at game management and managing guys? It's almost like the NBA where they're managing these players out minutes played because every minute on the field is another probability of an injury.
But is there kind of like as the drafts have been the past couple of times, just speaking of us, how many people have gone to the NFL? I mean, are we? I know there's an abundance of talent, you know what I mean? But is there kind of a fall off of it? I mean, like, I don't, is the talent kind of, I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying that's how, is it your point are they trying to kind of maintain the players' health or are they like kind of a step back in the talent? I don't think so. I mean,
well, we talked about this before. We've mentioned this at least once since we started this season. It's just my theory. You see so many injuries during the first 3 to 4 weeks when these guys are out here trying to run the score up on the quote unquote cupcake teams.
Yeah,
that I think the coaches are starting to look at this a little differently. This true. Is for those of you that haven't heard, here's the theory. We have the talent on the field to win this game.
Right.
We are going to do enough to win this game and not a whole lot extra. If there's room to open the throttle, we'll pull the starters, we'll put in the second string earlier versus letting the first string play 3 whole quarters if we have the game under control. And that's just what I'm thinking. I don't think you'll ever hear a coach come out and say that outright because every coach seems to think that their game plan is some kind of big government secret. And the health of the players is some big government secret, but let's call it for what it is. I mean, you even said yourself, Coach Kirby said man, this is the most injuries I've seen the first part of this season. You know,
Yeah. Right.
with all the players that he has injured. So, and that was before the season even started. We're starting to get guys back that were hurt before the season started.
Yeah.
So Florida goes ahead and pulls out a 22-7 win over Charlotte. They move to 3-1 and are still undefeated in the East. Moving on to the next game, the Razorbacks fall short against LSU. This one was a fun game to watch.
Yeah, it was.
It was a fun game to watch. Jefferson, we've been pretty high on KJ.
Yeah.
That the kid is coming into his own. He's starting to relax. You see him making that move. Of his one particular play where he was rolling to his right, and it looked like he was going to take off because he had the line of scrimmage right there and easily 5 or 6 yards of open real estate in front of him. He pointed out to his receivers. He directed them, and he made the throw downfield. A couple of years ago, KJ was taking off, and that was just the end of it. If the pocket broke down, he was running. He's learning. He's evolving. He's turning into a better quarterback. I think it has definitely improved his stock. 289 yards passing for him. Daniels with 320 yards passing. Haas with 116 yards rushing and 133 from Thomas on the LSU side. LSU pulls this one out 34-31. Both, LSU still undefeated in the West with a 3-1 record overall. Yeah. We know how our game went, and we're going to get into that in a minute. Missouri, undefeated, 4 weeks in.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they played that. I'm pretty sure they played that third down trumpet song quite a bit in Missouri over the weekend. 34-27 win over Memphis, who is no slouch in the American Conference. Hennigan, threw for 316 yards, and Taylor with 143 yards receiving. Cook with 341 yards passing and 123 yards for straight up on the ground, and Luther Burden with 177 yards. That boy, if Luther Burden is not a first-round draft pick,
yeah,
something
man.
is not. If Luther Burden is not one of the highest pick wide receivers in this year's draft, there's something wrong with that. South Carolina coming on back, 37-30 over Mississippi State. Spencer Rattler doing his thing, 288 yards passing. Leggett with 189 yards rushing. Receiving. How about this, though, for Mississippi State? 256 yards out of Griffin and Rogers, no shocker, threw for almost 500 yards, just 13 shy. We've been talking about Will Rogers for years now. This is season 3. We've been talking about him since the day we got started. So there's no surprise, even with Coach Leach. May he rest in peace, gone. The air raid, and they're having to revamp that air raid offense. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's insane. I mean, 47 yards. Wow.
The only thing that you can do for a quarterback like that just got that cannon is the hope that he gets drafted by a team that has a strong receiving core. But because if he goes somewhere like Oakland, he's in trouble. That boy's in trouble.
Well, yeah, they need to go somewhere that he'll be utilized. You know,
they beat Bryce Young up so bad over in Carolina. He said, "You know what? I think I'm gonna chill for a little bit."
Yeah, no doubt. Man, but yeah, I mean that's another one coming to his own is Spencer Rattler. I mean, like he's
100%,
steadily, producing and steadily coming up. And it seems like he's getting more comfortable. But
there are many things that I have said about Spencer Rattler since he set foot on campus in Norman. It seemed like many moons ago. It really was only 4 years ago. It seemed like many moons ago, but he has definitely matured. He has definitely evolved, and he is definitely a better quarterback today than he was in the fall of 2019. And even though he plays for South Carolina, I wish him all the success in his continued endeavors to make it into the league. I could see him being. I could see him maybe. I might could see him. I think he's worked his way up to a second-round draft pick. I think if he had played up to the potential and the hype that they brought him into Norman with, he would definitely be talked about. He definitely would be a Heisman candidate. He definitely would be. They'd be talking about him as a first round draft pick. I think making the transfer and the way that the transfer took place with him just stepping, getting sat for Caleb.
Right.
It probably damaged his draft stock some, but he's definitely worked his way back up the totem pole.
Yeah.
So I think he'll do some great things. I just don't know exactly what to. I'm not exactly sure.
I don't know. That's
What Carolina has to do, but Beamer ball is Beamer ball. I think overall is one of the most unpredictable styles of ball in the SEC right now, and it's kind of fun to watch. Now,
I love listening to Beamer talk. Did you hear? He said, "Well, luckily it's the ankle he's got a screw in, so he'll be all right." And I was like, "Beamer, come on, bro."
Jesus.
Oh my goodness!
Really?
No, that's what he said for real. That's exactly. And then remember when he said that you had the press conference when we beat him. I don't know. It was last year. When it was last year when we played him, he was like, "Well, they got 5 stars, 7 stars, 8 stars, and they've got." He just was going on. I love to hear him talk.
That guy is so kind of special. I gotta tell you.
Hey,
I think the difference between him and Lane Train is that Lane Kiffin is just saying the most outlandish stuff he can say, just to put some eyeballs on him.
For sure.
I think Beamer is genuine when he says the kind of stuff that he says. He's just that kind. I think he legit is that kind of guy, even when he's off the clock.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I can definitely see that too. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So getting into the last game here around the SEC before we get into the Georgia game, our favorite squad, and our old arch nemesis, our main arch nemesis as of late, playing at home, had another slow start, winning the halftime with 2 field goals. Almost knotted up with Ole Miss 7-6 in Bryant-Denny. What do you think contributed to Alabama making? Well, you know what? I have a theory, and I'm gonna share it with you real quick. Then I'm gonna let you have the floor. I think here's my.
Bama does what Bama do.
There we go. So, what do you think? What do you think is? What's your theory on what do you think the coach said to them? That old Saint Nick said to them at halftime to get them going. Other than the fact that if he couldn't have his oatmeal cream pies on Sunday because they lost, that he was going to kick every one of them in the butt in practice on Monday.
Well, I'm going to say something that might surprise you. I don't really think he went in there with the old screaming, what do you call it? Screaming, spinning head and that kind of stuff, just screaming F-bombs everywhere. I don't know. Because, I mean, I think he might have taken the curvy approach. That's just a huge speculation of mine because – I mean, if you look him up and down the sideline or whatever, you don't see that kind of fire from him anymore. I mean, if you paid attention, you see a little bit, but not. He's not nearly as animated, right? But
more so when they get those bad calls. When they get those bad calls against them.
And it's not toward the team though. It's not toward their production or not lack thereof production. You know what I mean? Normally, when they threw a pass or did something they didn't like, he would be all up in their face and that kind of stuff. I hadn't seen that. To the effect that it used to be. But anyway, evidently he did something. He might have threw a chair or two or whatever, but they came out hot in the second half and they decided that it was kind of reminiscent of how we play, to be honest with you. That they kind of were just dilly-dallying around in the second quarter and whatever, and then they decided to play football in the second half. So,
well, let me ask you this. Do you think that has anything to do with the kinder, gentler method of everything these days? From this is not a political statement. This is or a societal statement. Derogatory. But we have to take a different approach to raising and upbringing our children now, to how you teach the kids in school and things of that nature, and how you raise them at home. Do you think that it's a different? Maybe the coaches are starting to look at different strategies now to motivate their guys.
I mean, that's a good point, but I mean, at the same point, I mean, if it works, great. But I mean, you and I both know growing up playing any kind of organized sports or anything like that. I mean, you know how the coaches would fly off, and it wasn't. And nowadays, it's actually there's people with it and with cell phones, with videos, and that kind of stuff like that may play a part of it too. Can't go into. I mean, they make their way into the locker room and they make their way on the news or reporters get leaked and all that.
100%, man. I remember playing Little League, being 8 or 9. That very famous Kirby Smart quote from a couple of years ago about get the effing ball. You know how many times I heard that at 8 or 9 years old?
Yeah. So that word was commonplace, But that's I guess that's quote unquote or whatever, locker room, whatever. But I mean, to your point, maybe it is because I mean you've seen all the stuff that's been leaked. All these locker room, speeches before and after game speeches and and leaked down the news and leaked out on the internet.
And everybody's like, "Oh, you're supposed to be leaders of men and setting examples," and I can't believe the coach is doing blah blah and this, that, and the third. It's like, yo, you're talking about a group of 11 guys that weigh an average of 250 to 260 pounds apiece, slamming into each other at full speed.
Yeah,
wearing essentially heavy plastic armor, and you expect the coach to come in and go, "Okay, Johnny, now you got to hit him a little harder." You know what I mean?
yeah. You hit him too hard. No, you're supposed to hit him till the ball comes out of the hand, make him think about you. Think about you. Like you're gonna hit him if he catches that ball.
I mean, seriously, you think
that's the thing that Kirby said. Remember with that hit on Harrison? He said, right, I guess, excuse me, right before that, I don't know if he said that the Bullard or whoever, but there's a clip of him saying something like, receivers are used to catching the ball, they ain't used to getting hit. So I mean that's kind of what how he
right
articulated it. So that said it that way. He's like he's gonna be focused on the ball. He's not. You come across the middle. I mean, boom.
Oh yeah, I don't know how much kinder and gentler Kirby's got in him because I've seen him have some heated conversations.
Oh yeah,
the last couple of seasons with our boy on the sidelines, and Stetson was giving it back to him like, "Yo, the band was over." Kirby's got that. You know how Kirby does it. He's like, Stetson's giving it right back. But they made a great combo. So, having said all of that. Yeah. Alabama lives to fight another day. Also, they only have so far Alabama just has the one loss, and they're still undefeated in conference play. So the West is still not out of reach for Alabama. Having said all of that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're going to take a brief commercial break, and we're going to come right on back. So you guys stay tuned. We'll be right back with more This Week in UGA Football. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you so much for staying tuned. Staying tuned in to this week's episode of This week in UGA football, sorry, I'm out of breath. I realized the commercial was running. I was like, crap, I got no merch to show off after the commercial. So yes, proudly sponsored by Zagnif Apparel, where you can get cool gear like this right here. We got the snapbacks, we got t-shirts, we got leggings. You want them?
Hey.
We got them, and we got the toboggans or the skull caps or whatever you want to call them. We've got slides. We got flip flops. We got leggings. We got gym pants. We got. So visit ZagnifApparel.com today for your best. Look, I think I ran a 4.240 across the house and back.
I was going to ask you, where'd you get that clip of me doing the curls with the 35s there, the 35 plates? Pretty good doing that.
Oh man! So for the best in comfort and gym wear, dress like you're already famous. So for those of you that have been hanging out, we have been talking about games around the SEC, but that ain't what y'all came here to see. That ain't what y'all came here to talk about, because the name of the show is no longer This Week in the SEC. We are here to talk about them dogs at the University of Georgia, indeed, and they did it again. Hey, look, them cardiac dogs did it again. Had me worried. They were looking rough, and we were looking a little rough in that first half, man. I don't know, again, what it is. And I put out a short video on, by the way, you can check us out in all of these videos if you want to catch the replays on our YouTube channel, which is Zagnif Productions. That is ZAGNIF Productions, just like the name of the apparel. Oh, it sounds just like the name of that apparel company. You think? Yeah, go check us out at Zagnif Productions, where you can check out all the replays. We also have all of our archives from season 2, season 1, short videos, some fun stuff that we've done. But I did put out a short video that said, what's the slow starts? And I gave you my theory on that. But man, it just got to a point where it's just like, are we ever just going to come out and pop somebody in the mouth? I know Coach Bobo said that he wanted Coach Bobo came out and he said, I want a big play every 8 to 10 plays.
Yeah.
And the first quarter, they came out kind of swinging, but then they only were able to put 7 points on the board.
Yeah. I mean,
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, finish up.
No, I was just going to say it was the second quarter when they finally woke up and really started doing things. So that, they went into the half with a 28-14 lead.
Yeah.
But it took a while for them to get started. So what is going on, man? Like what's really going on with that?
Dude, I don't know. I mean, aside from injuries, I don't know, but it still goes back to what you and I were talking about, like the excitement. I mean, I'm not seeing the same excitement on big plays, that kind of stuff, and it just kind of worries me. Like, we scored 45, but at the same point, that's not gonna hold water against anybody in the SEC. Like, I mean, we should play Auburn this weekend or whatever, but I just don't. And the turnover and the defense is what surprised me. Is like, we're getting, kind of not really carved up, but we're giving up plays. Like we let them score 14 points in the second quarter, and it looked like they were running all over us. They were running on us and then passing. Receivers were open, DBs were letting them, get behind them and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, is it is a win.
First day with the new mouth. happened to me all the time, man.
The beard is kind of weighing my chin. but yeah, I mean, it's I'm not trying to be one of those guys that say, we let 20 UAB hang 21 on us, but at the same point, we're the number 1 team in the nation. I mean, we won the game. It goes to your point. You go to your point. Maybe we're doing whatever, but at some point, it doesn't seem that way to me. It seems like we're letting things happen that shouldn't be happening, regardless if it's like, one first string, second string, that kind of stuff, whatever. I'm hoping it's the second and third string playing, but I mean, these are having the first string, the number 1 guys. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and we do have
your first string players should not be. I mean, no knock on the UAB. Wow, my turn now. With Jazzy, with Jeff, the Peter Piper Big Peppers. Anyway, UAB, the Blazers of UAB. No disrespect to the team, but they came in 1-2. Okay, and this is one of the teams that we schedule like once a year or once every other year. It's like UAB one year and the Sanford Bulldogs the next year. they shouldn't have let them score 14 points in the first half. And to answer and to your comment, Sean, the reason that is a source of concern for us is because if we are playing if we really are playing full throttle football for all 4 quarters, and it's not what my theory is about the slow starts to preserve minutes and save injuries. If we are playing full throttle 4-quarter football and we're letting UAB come out and score 21 points on us, what is a team? What is a Kentucky? What is an undefeated Kentucky going to do? You know what I mean? What is a Vanderbilt going to do if they get a good roll going and they get to smelling themselves? Florida has got a good roll going as of late. I'm not saying that Florida is such a wonderful, is the greatest in the top tier of the SEC, but they've got a roll going. Missouri, Ole Miss, Tennessee especially. I mean, this is basically the schedule, the conference schedule going into the rest of the season. We have Auburn this Saturday. On the 7th, we play at Auburn on Saturday. Kentucky comes to Georgia the following week. The next week, we travel to Vanderbilt. We got 2 weeks off. Then we got the cocktail party in Florida. Then Missouri comes to Sanford on the 4th of November, my wedding anniversary. On the 11th, the following week, Ole Miss comes to Sanford. And then the next week, we play at Neyland Stadium before we play Georgia Tech to close out the season. And I'm telling you right now, any one of those teams could get a good roll going on us if we let them get out in front. That's all I'm saying. And that is my concern. If we're playing 4-quarter football, because they say you play to win the game, it's 4 quarters. We tear ourselves and everyone around us to pieces for that inch. If we're playing 4-quarter football and this is the best we could muster against UAB, it's gonna be it's gonna be a nail biter of a season. Now, I say that because I say things like that because I am a realist when it comes to my team. I love Georgia. I love the Dawgs to death, but I'm a realist, and that's just what I see. Now, if they turn the corner, and I mean, I think we said the same thing in the 2021 season. We saw some sloppy ball in the first part of the season, and then they finally hit the nines and pulled away from everybody. Yeah, but that's just what I see now. Were there some bright spots? One of the bright spots that I saw is that they finally started letting Carson go downfield. But again, for every good, there's a bad. Dropped balls. Arian Smith wide open, got at least 5-6 steps, hit it right in the hands. Dropped it.
Yep. And overthrown balls. I mean, like Carson had a couple of wide open overthrows or underthrows, but
now go ahead, man. Go ahead. I'm just pulling the comment up, so I come back to it.
But no, I mean, well, the realist part is that it's not like I guarantee you can agree with me on this figures. We're not trying to win games by 50 points. I mean, it's saying I don't care. We're trying to beat these cupcake games by 50 points, but it's just showing early signs of things that could potentially happen in bigger games than these that for teams that
right.
What I'm saying. And if they happen, that's the realist aspect of it. Being a realist means if they happen in these other games, we're in for a world of hurt. Like, I mean, potentially in for a world of hurt. I'm not saying we are, but I'm saying we can't come back. That's one of those things. It's a different team.
That is the biggest point that I'm trying to like. Am I a realist? Yes, I'm a realist because everybody is a fan of a team that was the most phenomenal thing that season. They were having a great season, and some game that they really needed to win, they wound up losing, and all it took was one mental mistake. Or one mental mistake or one dumb penalty or something like that. And these are the kinds of things that we're looking at, especially when you're playing, especially for me, when I'm looking at Georgia playing those first 4 games of the season. My God, we're getting to the point where we're going to have 5 easy games in front of the front end of the season just to keep the guys from getting hurt. But when I look at those first 4 games of the season and these teams that we are supposed to beat, and they're making mental mistakes like this, it makes me ask the question, because it could come down to Georgia LSU in the SEC championship or Georgia and Alabama or or Georgia. No, Tennessee's in the East along with us. I caught myself before I made the mistake. OG, you should be proud of me. I caught myself before I misspoke this time. But we could wind up in the conference championship against a team that we can't afford to make mistakes in. We could wind up in the CFP against a team that we can't afford to make mistakes against. And God forbid we wind up in the national championship with a team that we can't afford to make mistakes against. That's all I'm saying. Do I think we can still run the table? Absolutely. But I do think we need to tighten up now because we getting ready, things is getting ready to get real.
Yeah, but on the flip side of that, it's like we're happy that those things are happening in these types of games where we have them out of, they're already out of, already won. Excuse me. And, flip side is like, hopefully those things won't happen because they happen here and people are kind of, the players are actually learning from these types of mistakes, these middle areas or whatever, if they're having these types of things like that and they, practice and kind of get rid of that kind of stuff, that from happening in these other bigger games. But, I think it has a lot to do with a lot of the, I guess, younger players. We have like you said before, we have some injuries that we haven't had before. Well, we've had injuries before, but this year we have, injuries that, these guys haven't been able to play, like McConkey and Bullard and that kind of stuff. That he's a huge kind of loss on defense. Bullard's going to be, he's like a terror in the secondary. And so McConkey is another, huge offensive weapon on the the size of the ball. I mean, I'm with you, man. I mean, hopefully, that it'll get time for these guys to get healthy and whatever. But I mean, that's just concerns. It's not saying it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to beat people by 70, 80 points and that kind of stuff like that. We should win. I'm glad we got to win. Don't get me wrong, but it's just hopefully these mistakes don't happen in bigger games. That's all the thing is.
Yeah, 100%. And now some of the bright spots of this game that I definitely, one thing that, like I said, I definitely was happy to see Beck finally trying to put the ball down the field. And, he's, right there, fingertips. He's got that skill. Another thing that I was happy to see was they finally let Brock Bowers out of the cage. They finally let him off the leash. They let Brock off the leash and Brock went ham. Did you see that stick? Look,
yeah,
I didn't know. I didn't know. America, I did not know that Brock Bowers and Derrick Henry was cousins. I didn't know that. That stiff arm. He was just like, get off me. It wasn't even a like Derrick Henry stiff arm you in ways that just make you question the decisions that you make. Yeah. Brock Bowers gave old boy a stiff arm like he was pissed off at somebody in the bar. Like bruh.
Yeah, he was running hard. He's running hard. Another one was running hard was Dejon. Dejon looked like he was running pissed off too. So like he got to a point in the second half. He was bowling like he was just being a bowling ball going through the middle and just running tough. But they're talking about like another bright spot was what you said, like Carson Beck. He did well. He aside from a little bit of miscues and that kind of stuff. But I mean, at the end of the day, what kind of miscues were they really? I mean, it was drop passes. That could all be worked out. But he had 338 yards.
Yeah. Dejon got 2 touchdowns. Brock got himself 2 touchdowns. Your boy got himself another touchdown.
That's right. Cash Jones.
Say my name. Say what? Cash Jones.
Play.
Muse. I think Muse is gonna sit down and kind of try and calm down a little bit because he did have the fumble on the punt return. But it made me a little sad because I wanted to see him take another one to the house. But he's he still had a decent amount of yards outside of that fumble. He did still have a decent amount of yards in the return game. So overall, not a bad game. We did see more good than we saw bad. Okay. But we would be a couple of simps if we sat up here and said Georgia's going to the national championship again. They're gonna whip everybody 57-0, and then they're gonna drive by Brian Denny on the way to the national championship, and they're all gonna moon Nick Saban, and they're gonna steal his cream pies, and then they're gonna make Miss Terry dress in red and black. Like, we would be a couple of idiots if we sat here and said every week we just gonna win, like a certain franchise from about 5-6 hours southwest of here that win a couple of games and think they're going to the Super Bowl.
Hey, hey.
God dog it. I
What
swear,
was
man,
that?
once a year, I just get this really bad case of Tourette's. And stuff just come out my mouth. I can't help it. I don't know. I'm just saying with them boys, but I can't say nothing because the Falcons lost yesterday too. But this is not a pro football show. Hey, look. I'm not playing. I'm just serious. These ain't jokes.
These ain't jokes. I'm being serial. I'm being serious.
I'm being serious. I'm not playing. I'm not playing. I'm just serious. Anyway, we gonna. So who's next on the slate? We got Auburn on the slate next week. Auburn has been very good this year. Auburn has shown much improvement this year over last year and the year before. I mean, even you know what? This has nothing to do with SEC. This has nothing to do with University of Georgia. Bo Nix. A couple of years ago, when Sean and I were doing this show, we used to, and when you eventually came on board, you know, we gave Bo Nix the nickname Happy Feet, and Auburn was not the program for him. He was not the coach he needed to be with. He did not have somebody to mold and guide him as a quarterback. He is thriving under Dan Lanning in Oregon, and even though he played for Auburn,
they did.
I'm gonna give it to him because you know what? There's no reason why I do believe Oregon is pretty high up on the contention for making the CFP this year. So, hey, but we're playing, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're talking about Auburn. Auburn is a good team. I you know what? I don't want to say we win this one walking away. I really don't. But I think Kirby's going to start running it. Yeah, I did. I said he had happy feet. I said that. That was his nickname. I called him Happy Feet.
Yeah, then you can't have, Bo Nix got, what do you call him? Bo Picks. Not even Bo Nix. He was Bo Picks.
And then you know what? You're right. He was a freshman quarterback in the SEC. It's just that I have seen, I guess the thing for me is I have seen other freshman quarterbacks, maybe not necessarily in the SEC, but I've seen some freshman quarterbacks come through the SEC and do well. He just was not in a good situation. I mean, we
talked about his O-line, his offensive line. They give him any time because it was just that was another bad situation. His O-line wouldn't give me protection.
Yeah, 100%. I don't want to say we win this one pulling away, but I think Kirby's going to give the guys a little extra motivation this week. And Bobo, Kirby and Bobo give the guys some extra motivation this week because now we're in for the long haul. We are in for the long haul. We got 2, 4, 6, 8 games left. 4 down, 8 to go. And we got 7 of them. The next 7 games are all conference games, and we got only 1 week of rest. The rest of the season from now through Thanksgiving. So I do think Georgia wins. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and call it. I think this is going to be the first game of the season where Georgia just comes out because there's something I hadn't considered. We've been playing at home since the season started. I see a comment over here. I'm gonna get to that in a second. We've been playing at home since the season started, and it ain't nothing like it. Don't matter how bad you are, but it's something about playing at home when you got your home crowd and you got 90,000 people screaming and yelling and carrying on and hooping and hollering for you. They're going into hostile territory next week.
For sure.
And I think they're going to go down there. I think this is going to be the week where they go out because Kirby's going to tell them, go out there and shut the crowd up. That's exactly what I think is going to happen. You gotta. Did I say that, Spencer? I did say that, Mr. Spencer. I did say that. And I apologize. I misspoke, but I did say that. I did. I said it. I'll claim it. I said it. I said it with my whole chest with the 3 great. I said it with my whole chest with the 3 great chest hairs I got growing out of it right now, and I ain't even ashamed. I'm about to turn into a silver fox. That's what's up. Sean's got Georgia 31-17. What's your game prediction?
Yeah, you know what? I really hope we come out with either a flea flicker or some kind of bomb or some kind of trick play first down offense. said he should run a mill run, and that right there may change it up. But sorry, I'm just ready to come.
Oh yeah, he been drinking. Look, you started drinking. You started drinking when you left work on Thursday. You've been drinking the whole weekend.
Yeah.
I ain't mad. Look, I ain't mad at you though, young man. You know what? I can call you young man because I'm a whole decade and some ahead of you, and I'm gonna tell you, I used to get it in like that on my birthday too. But at some point,
me and Fingaz used to get it in. We were drinking, together. So,
me and you, dog, man. Remember how many SEC people it used to be in that bar? Because it was me and you and your ex, and she was she was one of them Tuscaloosa people. And there was a couple of Tennessee people and a couple of Florida people. It was damn near SEC bar in Centerville.
Absolutely, yep,
pretty much.
But that from the score, I mean that sounds about right. 31-17. I mean that's a good round number. I would like to see 42-17. That's what I would like.
I'm gonna put mine in the comments. I'm gonna say 41. Let me think about it for a minute. There's 5 carried to 6 divided by 3.7 times the square root of pi. I'm gonna say 41-9.
41-9. Is that gonna be a safety and a touchdown, or a touchdown and a missed field goal?
No, I think this is going to be a state. I'm not saying. I'm just saying Kirby's going to say, okay, now the gloves are off. We got 7 weeks worth of conference play, and then we got Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
So go out there, punch these guys in the mouth. Let's wrap this thing up. Go back home and get ready for Kentucky.
Yeah. But I really would like to see that, just a surprise, just like a hey, we're here type of play, like either flea flicker or some kind of trickery to get the team moving first play, because we haven't seen that quite yet. Of course, we probably wouldn't, but I mean with the teams we played.
What did you say your score prediction was?
42-17.
42-17. Okay. So both you and Sean got Auburn getting 17 points.
Yeah.
I'm just putting them in the comments so we have them all for later. If you all are watching, whether you're watching this live or watching the replay, put your score predictions in the comments. You have until Saturday to do so. So please do feel free. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm feeling a little generous. Closest to the winning score, closest to the score. And you got to predict who's going to win as well. Closest to the score. Well, get yourself one of these right here. So go ahead and put your scores in the comment section, whether you're watching it live or you're watching the replay. And you have until Friday night. You have until 11:59 on Friday night. We're cutting it off. We're not taking any more score predictions after that. And then come Saturday, whoever gets closest to the score, if a whole bunch of y'all pick the same score, we'll pull them. We'll put them all in a hat. We'll pull them out. So I got you, OG, on yours, and I got you on your score predict. So that's what we got going on there. I got 41-9. Collin's got 42-17. Sean's got 31-17. Matter of fact, OG, I would like for you every week to give us a score predict on the game, and then we'll keep track from this point going forward. Since we are I know we missed the window of opportunity for the Carolina game. But since we're into the thick of the conference prediction, the conference stretch, so from now through the game at Tennessee, we'll see how the three of us do. We'll have a little friendly competition between us there. But that's what we got going on there. This coming week, we take on Auburn in Toomer's Corner. I mean, not in Toomer's Corner because that's where all the trees are, where they toilet paper. But we going down to Auburn, Alabama to take on those Tigers, those War Eagles, or whatever their mascot is this week. So we're going to take another real quick commercial break, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and then we'll be back with our final thoughts, and then we're going to close the show out. We do appreciate you tuning in this week for another episode of This Week in UGA Football. And we are back. It was taking forever for the thing to fade out. And the screen just went all white and everything. And it was like, hey, where are we?
I saw that.
Thing didn't want to cooperate with us. Doggone graphics. Well, you know what? I'm glad to have them working again. It's better that than to have me sitting there going, is it finished? Is it finished?
Is it?
Finished? I don't know if it's finished or not.
I can't hear you. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. And then you're just looking at me going, Fingaz, you muted. Fingaz, you muted. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here comes the part of the show where we give you all a little, sometimes we get philosophical, sometimes we get a little funny, but we have gone through 58 minutes, well, more than 58 here. 58 minutes of the game have elapsed, and it is now time for the 2-minute warning. As I said, 2-minute warning. These are our final thoughts on what has transpired last week, what we think is going to transpire this week. It doesn't necessarily have to be about the Georgia game. It could be something else altogether. Collin, I'm going to let you go ahead and have the floor, and then I'll give my thoughts.
Yeah. Well, I don't really have too much this week, other than the normal, tomorrow not promised. I mean, well, I was going to bring this up, but a lot of people don't know. But I'm a huge Bone Thugs and Harmony fan, and got some news about Crazy Bone. He's in the hospital with he's got a condition I can't remember. I can't pronounce. Can't remember what it was. Some kind of a lung issue or whatever. And he's been in there. There's been wild accusations about him being on life support, being this, that, and the other thing, whatever. But I think the update is where he was. I guess he's stable. Like the texts and the Instagram and all that kind of stuff came from his brother-in-law, his sister's actual husband, whatever. So it's coming with people affiliated and that kind of stuff. So it just goes to show you, like, the internet and all the news, everything. You don't know what to believe until it comes from somebody that's actually part of the family or knowing what's going on. But I mean, that just I'm not. Like the people with the music industry and that kind of stuff. But this just, kind of stings a little bit for me because I've been listening to them. They're my favorite, group since like high school, since they came out like '94. But yeah, I mean, I think he's doing well. I don't know for sure, but I mean, that's the last update I got. But anyway, that's about all I got. Just treat everybody good and love who you got. I love who is in your life. About it.
Yeah, 100%. Since you mentioned Crazy Bone and his condition. We lost the OG today, sir. Some time ago I came across this, and it hasn't been very long, but it's been some time since I ran across it this year. That there were multiple contributors to the samples that comprised Dr. Dre's next episode, Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg.
Oh yeah.
One of which was none other than David McCallum, the actor that played Donald, that played Ducky. I'm sorry. I know his name is Donald and his last name is, I can't remember what his character's last name, but he went by Ducky on NCIS. Well, well, we lost Ducky today. Ducky passed away at the age of 90. Rest in peace to David McCallum, who was a very beloved figure on NCIS, and also was a contributor to one of the songs that he composed was actually the sample, the bulk of the sample for the next episode.
Yeah.
So rest in peace to David McCallum. What I wanted to talk about for my 2-minute warning is there were a lot of people that jumped up and was like, let's all laugh and point at the Colorado Buffaloes and Deion Sanders and the wake of their loss to Oregon. Now, I'm going to say this as plainly as I possibly can. And let me go ahead and preface by saying, oh, there he is. Yep, there's Sean right there. He says, I'm here. Okay, we got you, brother. I'm going to say this as plainly as I possibly can. Now, I'm going to preface. I have been a Deion Sanders fan since the day he first set foot on the field with that Jerry curl and the giant rope chains.
It was dry.
Yeah, it looked wet, but it was dry. Like he like to tell Shay Shay. And he was picking off just about every quarterback in the league en route to his yellow jacket and multiple Super Bowl rings, et cetera, et cetera. I don't accept everything he says as gospel, but I have a lot of respect for what he has done, the brand that he has built, and what legacy he has left in the programs that he has touched from, as he has coached his kids coming up with recently Jackson State and now Colorado.
Right.
Just so you all know, Colorado was not supposed to win that game Saturday. They were not. They weren't even favored. Oregon, like I said, is very highly. The odds are very good for Oregon to at least make the CFP, if not play in the national championship. And you're talking about a Colorado Buffalo team that was last year 1-11.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say that again for the people in the back. Colorado was 1-11, and some of the same people that were laughing at Deion for losing yesterday were saying Colorado's 1-11. What's he gonna do with that program? Oh, he's run everybody off, and they're just gonna be crap. They'll be lucky if they win a game. So far, with what Deion Sanders has done, he has tripled the win total of the Buffaloes against last year's season off the break and straight out of the gate. Now, granted, one of those games was against Nebraska, but they beat. Let's look at who they beat. They did beat TCU, who not 8 months ago was in the national championship game.
Right.
Maybe minus a few of their key players, but still, the team that was in the national championship game in January, they beat to start the season. Nebraska, Nebraska, not so great. Colorado State is probably going to win maybe 2 or 3 games this season. Maybe. They might win some more, but Colorado State wasn't all that great either. The two of them. So yeah, this was their first test, and next week they're playing USC. Are they going to get trolloped? Are they going to trolloped? That's a whole different word. Are they going to get walloped? Woo! Are they going to get walloped? Are they going to get walloped by USC? More than likely. They're not expected to win that game either. But like Deion Sanders himself said, y'all better catch me now. And for those of y'all that didn't understand what that meant, he said, y'all better go ahead and get me now while I'm getting the program together. Because once he gets the program together, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
So let's not be so quick to jump and go and point and laugh when somebody fall. Because the folks that are true winners, they know that a slip and fall is only a momentary setback. They look at it as a learning experience. Right now, Deion is trying to figure out. He's probably examined that game tape about 1,800 times over. And no, I'm not a Deion apologist. For those of you that are that are going to be in the comments and trying to have something to say, I'm just saying that Deion is a master strategist. He might not ever win a national championship in Colorado, but I guarantee you, he elevates that program to greater than it is now. And just what he has done has brought enough attention on the program to resurrect a flagging football program. The revenue is up. The ticket sales are up. Ticket revenue is up. The bookstores can't keep the jerseys and all the paraphernalia on the shelves. It's
sunglasses.
just like that. So I mean, let's let Deion cook for a little bit to see what he come up with. I like to cook. I like to, I post all kinds of pictures of stuff I cook on social media. I guarantee you the first time I tried to barbecue some chicken, I turned it over a couple times and slapped some barbecue sauce on it and served it to everybody, and it was just as red on the inside and raw. But I could throw down in that kitchen now, boy. Watch what I tell you. So it's going to take some time. Y'all let Deion cook. Let him do what he's doing. And that's all I've got, man. That's all I've got for the 2-minute warning. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we would like to thank you for joining us for this weekend UGA football. It has been our pleasure being your host this evening. As always, your boy here from Oklahoma City, my guy there, Collin P. from the DMV, who got the full on intro today. He's like, man, he forgot my intro. I saw you look at me funny last week, like, yo. I got you, fam. I got you. I tell you like Kanye, I got you, fam. Huh?
I got you, fam. Yeah, man. Oh, very good. I'm glad you actually you spit it out with very good authenticity there. Articulation. Big word.
Yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on. We got ourselves a $272 SAT word. Quarters and quarters. The sipping on the scissor. Courtesy of Collin P for the DMV. Articulate. He says articulation, and then I immediately murder the word. Oh man, bro. Real quick, I share this with you. I'm not a TikToker, as in I don't have TikTok, but sometimes people take the TikToks and put them on Instagram. So, it said, name a word that you mispronounced once, and it has haunted you ever since. The first one was a guy, and the word was MAN. Wait a minute, hold on. I'm gonna put it in the comments real quick. There we go. That was the word.
Oh God. I can just imagine.
That was the word that he mispronounced. How did he mispronounce it? Man's laughter.
Man's laughter. Man laughed. Hey.
And then wait, there was another one.
Man's laughter.
There was another one, and this was a lady, and she just looked at the camera and just sighed, and she said, "Avocado." I don't care what y'all call it. I know what it is, and I know how to pronounce it, but I still call it avocado because I called it wrong, and I'm just gonna ride with it. It's avocado.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I don't think I sent you. I gotta find it. She says, so the woman trying to say Worcestershire sauce is Worcestershire sauce or whatever. She goes, she says it. Let me see if I can say it right. Hold on one second. I had it. Worcestershire sauce or something like that. Worcestershire sauce is what she said it.
Worcestershire.
So yeah, what's I can't remember. I gotta find a video, but she said it was so funny. But we got, how people say that, what's this here sauce? And that's what people call it. My mom calls it what's this here sauce.
Yeah, it was Mallard was his last name. That's how he got the name Ducky. So they took the Donald and made it Donald Duck, and then Dom that. Now I remember. But hey, look, we gonna get out of here, y'all, because Collin and I will talk another 20, 30 minutes. We do appreciate you. We will be back on the air this time next week. So tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, and don't forget to check out Sean Spencer on YouTube, and also the homie, the man, the myth, one Nathan Snell on YouTube, also with the Big Nate Sports Podcast. It's on all the time, every time. Y'all check them both out because they got some good stuff coming your way as well. In addition to our friends from North Sports Dynasty and NFL Edition and all of those, on behalf of all of them, even though this is our show, we're going to shout them all out. On behalf of all of them, we appreciate y'all. We'll see you next week. And we are OUT out. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
All right, so Pete, we appreciate you tuning in and watching these videos. Me and Collin will be back every Monday, every Thursday, right on this very channel. Like what you see, hit the like button. Want to get the notifications, hit the subscribe button. Want your peoples to know, hit that share button and send it all across the internet. We appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. We'll be back next time. We'll see you then. Go Dogs.